Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. We are live again. Attenzione, because, I need to fix this. We are live again. I'm super happy. Super happy, but really super happy. Too long. The last time I went live, it was on Thursday, right after the beautiful victory versus Not 3-0. Since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was not home. It is a total disaster. I'm happy to be back. I did a video a bit earlier, of course. For the one that didn't see the video yet, it will be there. I know it's really short, but now important is to listen to the words of Max Allegri, something that I started a few weeks ago, translating it live, and I know that you actually quite like it. So let's see on a Monday afternoon who has a job and who is jobless, totally jobless, and has time to spend with me here. Let's see who is there. We have the first one, Punsara. Ciao Punsara. Ciao Styler Z. Ciao Sani. Ciao Stavros. Ciao Helicopter. Ciao Sasha. Ciao Asit. Ciao Marien. I have a good feeling about the derby, especially because we are playing at home. That's the beautiful first positive message of the chat. Ciao to Bogdan. Ciao to Duje. Good afternoon, Beppe. Ciao to Youssef Mirmo. Beppe, you have ruined my life. I can no longer stay 2 days without your videos. Good to have you back, Beppe. Hey, I know. For me, it's the same, guys. You have ruined my life because I can't stay 3 days without starting really to miss going live. Let me put on a bit of light behind me in the background. We know it in a few minutes. The press conference will start of Max Allegri. We will try to see what he has to say. Of course, the big curiosity is Pogba, Chiesa, Vlahovic, Di Maria. Will they finally, on the 28th of February, the last day of February, will they all be called up at the same time? Something that never happened this season. The Fantastic Four. That was the title of Tutto Sport today. Ciao to LGG. Ciao to Ruben. Bogdan. Ciao Juventini. Ciao Turbo. Ciao Siamak, my friend, my great friend. Grande Siamak. That is there with us as well. So, before starting speaking about Juventus, before listening to the words of Max Allegri that should be live in about 6 minutes, and we know that usually they are always on time, let me say something, guys. Not Max Allegri, that's for in a second, but first of all, let me say one thing important. Here we are with my friend Enrico Zambruno. For the people that are watching the highlights of the games of Juventus, you know that voice is quite famous in Juventus. Worked 14 years at Juventus, for long did all the away games of Juve. This season he was also doing the home games. Well, Enrico Zambruno, historical voice of Juventus, is leaving Juve. He's leaving Juve, so that means that after the derby, that will be his last game and also his favorite game, because he's from Torino since he's born. He's from Torino. He watched Juventus since a kid, a real Juve fan. Well, it will be his last game as a voice of Juventus. Then he will do something else in his career. Well, good luck to Enrico. I have to say that he became a friend of mine because I worked closely with him. Later today at 5 p.m. Italian time, I will be on Twitch together with him for his last time on Juventus Twitch as a host. I will be next to him. I will try to ask him some questions, but I also had the honor to follow a course with him, a course that was about sport commentary. Guys, if you want to become better, not that I want to become a sport commentator, but if you want to learn, if you want to become better, what else to do it with the best one? Because yes, he was and he is the best sporting commentator that I ever heard. Prepared, full of professionalism. Guys, I never saw that. And also with a lot of passion, that voice. La Juventus è in vantaggio, something fantastic. Beautiful. So thank you to Enrico. I will speak with him a bit later. Tariq in the chat is saying ciao a tutti. I just finished watching the video, but he also had added his voice is iconic. Yes, iconic voice. One that you could identify between a lot of voices. So beautiful to have Enrico Zambruno, 14 years at Juve. Let's see what the future will bring for him. Let's see what the future will bring for Juve. I'm really curious. Ciao to the Rocky. Ciao Beppe. Just came back from school, right on time. Sir Raz. Ciao Beppe. G just late. No. Today you stop. Today I'm not late. Today I'm not late at all. Today I'm right on time. I was here at 2:05. as I planned it. So stop, basta. I'm not. You see, everything is already said. You have Max Allegri here. He will speak alone today. He will be the only one that will speak today. Why? Because it's not a European competition, so it's only the coach that will speak. I'm curious what he will answer to the questions about who will replace Locatelli. That will be, of course, one question. Who will replace him? Will we go with Paredes from the start? Will we go with a two-man midfield? I'm not expecting Max to answer all the questions, to dribble them, but it's important also to watch la faccia, the face of Max Allegri, what he will say, when he will say it, with what kind of intonation, with what kind of non-verbal communication. Also really curious to see who will be there on the bench. Will we have Federico Chiesa? In the last minutes, they are also speaking about the possibility to see Fabio Miretti already on the bench. That could potentially help, because that's our weakest point at the moment, the midfield, especially for the game of the Derby della Mole, with only Fagioli and Rabiot as starters. The other ones, well, if Miretti is there, we will have no full game. If Pogba is there, he will have no full game. If Paredes is there, hopefully he will do better than what he did until now. So let's see. Good morning to Gadion. Ciao Risencross, my friend. Ciao to Haitam. Ciao Beppe. You will replace him as a voice of Juve? No. No, I will not be the official commentator of Juventus. At least as a sport voice for the games. Will I do a bit different things for Juve? Maybe, but that's not the time to speak about that. Let's see what the future will bring. But we will discover after, because you know that I'm not taking care of the football games, at least not as a sporting commentator. But I'm doing Twitch, and as now I always did the English part, you know, let's see what will happen with the Italian part. But that's something for later. I want to know your question before we start. How long before we start? Well, 2 minutes. 2 minutes and we go. 2 minutes and we go. I will already put here the, let me put here the headphones so that I'm testing if yes or no we will hear Max Allegri, because if we can't hear him, well, we have a problem, of course. So let me try to check if yes or no we hear the sound. I hear it. Okay, so I hear the sound of the music ready to start, and then we will translate live. It will start in 1 minute. Ciao to Apex. Are we playing in our beautiful? Yeah, of course. You can see it below. Always here the home team, so we are playing in Allianz Stadium, and then you see the away team. It is Torino, Derby della Mole. Beppe, what do you expect Max to say? Well, that it will be a difficult game, that even if Torino is a team that didn't win a lot of games, ultimately it's a team that can put a lot of teams in difficulty, that are never giving up because of the Grinta, as their coach Juric. So I'm expecting these kind of things, of course. Difficult team, like similar to their coach Juric. You will see, he will say that. I'm sure about it. Ciao Sebastiano, grande Sebastiano. I guess Max didn't want to start Paul Pogba against Nantes if he wasn't forced to. I think Max wants to start Paul at home with our supporters. Beppe, where is Grodino? It's out of business at the moment. I need my wife to buy some new ones. San Pellegrini is also really great. So I'm waiting for the coach to start. Guys, what else what is the question that you would ask to this guy here, to Max Allegri, if you had the opportunity? I'm waiting for the start. Yeah, now, it will start now, Brandon. It's about to start. Ciao, Alexis. Welcome back. Thank you. Forza Juve for Timothy. I'm reading a bit of your comments. What do you think about Dybala coming back next season? I don't think it will happen. I didn't even think about it because it's a possibility that it's not there. Attenzione, because Coach Allegri has joined, so attenzione with the questions. Conferenza stampa. First question. Enrico Zambruno. The last question of Enrico Zambruno. What represents the derby for you, Max? Max Allegri says, we start with something else. Tomorrow will be the last commentary game of Enrico Zambruno after 13, 14 years, I believe, and everyone is applauding. He says, I wish you the best for your new journey and thank you for everything. This is really beautiful. This is really beautiful. Derby is always difficult. Important for us, also for them. But especially for us because we have to continue to go up. Bologna beat Inter, so Bologna is over us with 3 points. We have to catch up again. And then especially continue with the points that we did on the field, that are 47. And we have to maximize on that. Journey is long. Torino is a really prepared team, has good qualities. And especially it's a really aggressive team, guys. I already told you he would say that. Giovanni Albanese. I'm asking you about Chiesa. And will he be able to play and how long? Max. Chiesa trained with the team yesterday. For a few days, he trained individually. I still need to decide, but it will be really difficult for him to start from the beginning of the game. We have to manage the players that are staying away from the field for a few games. The last time he played Fiorentina and Nantes. And it's normal that playing these 2 games really close to each other, it was for him a bit difficult to recuperate after that. But it's totally normal. What about Bonucci? Can he start the game, yes or no? Leonardo is feeling much better. I'm really happy. He already started playing a few minutes on the field versus Spezia. A few games, a bit more in France versus Nantes. For him also, really long period without playing. He's feeling good, but at the moment, he will sit next to me. It's really important for me to have him, because from here to the end, we will have a lot of games. We will need him, because he's the captain of Juventus, but at the moment, he will sit next to me. So tomorrow, Bonucci doesn't start. Pogba. What about Pogba? Hey guys, it looks like we are speaking about all the dead people. No. Pogba is feeling better. Tomorrow he will be called up. SC! Vamos Pogba! Vai! Maximum of likes for Pogba. If we need him, he will enter. He has not the full game, but he will be there tomorrow. This was not the reaction of Allegri, and this was my reaction. Let's go! So we speak about Juric. The teams of Juric, let's say, they are really specific in the way they play. They attack a lot. They are putting a lot of pressure. There are games that are really intense, so we will have to be really good in playing that kind of games to understand the reality of these games. I told you about Juric. He would say about Juric. So we will have to be ready, but also being conscious about the importance of the game. Our strength at the moment is putting ourselves a few little objectives, one at a time. And tomorrow our objective is winning versus Torino. Dusan is feeling well, but at the moment, except of Milik, that will come back after the break, Caio and Locatelli, all the other ones are feeling well. Attenzione Miretti. Some has more minutes, some have less minutes, but from now on, that we are playing every 3 days, they will have to be all ready. tomorrow is a dirty game. They showed it when they played versus Milan, so we will have to do our game. That will be really important. Juric has beat you one time in his career. Now, with all the players that you are recuperating, is this starting to be the real Juve? What represents the derby of Torino, knowing that you have these minus 15 points? Ciao, Aldo. The ranking, regardless of what's happening out of the field, in the field, on the field, we have to do our points. Because with these points, we have to remain, at least, we have to try to remain in that top 4. The minus 15 is something that is not for us at the moment. We have to leave Juventus taking care about that. He's repeating it. On the field, we have 47, even if versus Salernitana we had right about these 3 points. But let's put these aside. We would have had 49, we have 47. I will repeat until the end that in Champions League we failed because we failed to qualify. At a certain moment we have to accept it. Now, except of Milik, Miretti will be back after the Torino game. Miretti will be there versus Roma. Between saying and doing, there is a big difference. For example, Pogba. The last time that he played, we are speaking about 315 days ago. If you believe that tomorrow he can already start the game, that's a big difference. No. Chiesa, after 1.5 game, needed to stop. If you believe that he can start tomorrow, no. We need a bit of patience, but it's totally normal for these players. These players are human beings. After the moment that you stop the engine, it's difficult after 1 year being parked that the engine is starting immediately. You need a bit of time. From Paul Pogba, I talk with him. I still talk with him as I speak with all the different players. He needs also to understand how important the moment is now for him, because he needs to be back. He needs to have all the stimuli, the motivations to do a really great end of the season, to give us support, to help us as Juventus. So it's not really what he asked to Paul, but what Paul should ask to himself. No, Pogba will not start tomorrow over Arda. He will be there on the bench. Paredes. About Leandro, he played a lot. He alternated good with bad performances. He played 4 in Champions League, 15 in Serie A, 1 Coppa Italia, and 2 in Europa League. Sometimes as a starter, sometimes from the bench. He's an important player for us. And as all the players will be needed, and they will all have to give us the support and help. Didn't really answer about Paredes. He just spoke about the quantity of games that he played. What are you asking specifically to Vlahovic when he's playing, how he's playing? I worked with him on Saturday. You watched it, you saw it, because it was an open training, but I'm doing that a lot of time. If I'm not doing it, then it's my technical staff that is doing it. We try to improve the characteristic of every single player, of Vlahovic, but also from the other team. Vlahovic has all the time in the world to improve. I had a lot of examples. Chiellini, when he stopped playing, he had a really beautiful left foot. But in the beginning, was not really that. But it was a guy that every time when he came to training, he was training it. He was trying to work on his left foot because everyone was saying that he was a disaster with his left foot. Last two questions. What about the little Filippo? His grandson. He says, winning is not easy. When you win, winning is not simple. Tomorrow, it will be really difficult. It will be one that will be fought. He didn't really answer it about his grandson Filippo. I believe he wants to stop speaking about his grandson Filippo. Can you explain us a bit about the environment with his minus 15 points? So Max is saying the team went over it. They put it aside. It was quite difficult in the week of Atalanta because we had a reaction after or during Atalanta. After the post-Napoli, that was a total disaster. So after Napoli, you had that big minus 15 points. We had that reaction versus Atalanta. And unfortunately, you had the boomerang versus Monza. Now, we have really clear in our mind two things. The small objectives. The first one is to reach again Bologna. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind what we did on the field. 47 points. And that's where and what we have to work on. As a team on the field, we know that we have to arrive at the end of the season achieving the points on the field that give us the right to be in the top 4. Then, the minus 15, what will happen and so on, I don't know. But that's what we have to do from now on until the end of the season. We have a semi-final of Coppa Italia to play. We have a round of 16 versus a team that is 4th in Bundesliga. So we have a lot of games to play. More we win in Europa League, more we have games to play. Thanks to everyone, and then a special thank you also to Enrico Zambruno. Okay, guys, that was the press conference of Max Allegri today before the derby della Mole versus Torino. Interesting things. What can we, as a recap, keep in mind about the press conference of today? That before football, there are other important things. Before football, there is the human side. And before speaking about Torino, before speaking about Pogba, injury not, called up. The first thing they talked about today was this. Was Enrico Zambruno that is leaving after, I believe, 1,200 more or less press conferences with Juventus. And that's a big achievement. So Max Allegri said, thank you for tomorrow, for your last one, thank you for everything you did. And that's really also beautiful because there are so many people, and I can tell you guys, I can really tell you, working now for more than 2 years at Juve, there are so many people at Juventus that are doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So if one time we can see someone being thanked publicly for his hard work off the field, and we are not speaking about players or coaching or a coach, or a manager, well, that's really beautiful. After that, he spoke about individualities. Well, we can regroup two things. First of all, Pogba will be there tomorrow. He will be called up. Federico Chiesa, 90% will be called up as well. But then he spoke about these two players, comparing them a bit like, an engine, like a motor that for 1 year was stopped, and we don't have to expect that when you turn again the key to put it on, or in the new cars, when you push the button on, that from now on, they will automatically restart and being ready to fly. This is impossible. So our expectations about players like Pogba, like Bonucci as well, or Federico Chiesa, we need more time to see them starting every single game from the beginning. Pogba was away 315 days from the last time he played. So not a friendly Chivas, but really the last time he played, 315 days. So they will be there probably on the bench, and Federico Chiesa, and Leonardo Bonucci, and Paul Pogba, but we have to give them time. Well, Federico Chiesa played 2 games in a row, Fiorentina, and not probably he accelerated, probably he gave too much of him, which is normal, it's totally normal, and he's paying for it. So we have to wait, we have to manage them, and that will be like that until the end of the season. But what are we asking to Paul Pogba? So I'm doing the recap for the people that just enter. We are asking that he understands not what we are asking for him, but he needs to understand himself the key important moment of the season we are in, because we are towards the end of it. He needs to understand that he can achieve by working, the fact that he can be an important player for Juventus to give us a support. So it's more putting the responsibility this time on Paul Pogba, not what we are asking you, but what he needs to ask himself, understanding how important he is. Miretti will not be called up for the game of Torino, but after that he will be there for Roma on Sunday, which is great because we will also recuperate Locatelli that has been suspended. What about Paredes? We don't know if he will play or not tomorrow from the start, or we go towards a 2-man midfield with Fagioli and Rabiot, or we start with 3. We know that if we start with 3, you don't have a lot of possibilities to change them on the bench. This is a bit what Max said about the players, the importance of the game. Well, he said what we were already expecting. Juric, aggressive teams, teams full of grinta, a team that is never giving up, a team that did not all the points that they probably deserve to do, but a well-organized team that is pressing a lot. And we know that it is a derby that will be fought by both teams, and it is important also for Juve to go back to first reach virtually Bologna in the ranking, but also virtually the other flip of the coin, the other side of the coin, also to remain second, achieving 50 points, if not 52, if they would not have robbed us against Salernitana. I believe that's the big recap of what I said. Probably, yeah. Ahmed, Vlahovic starting. He spoke about Vlahovic as well, saying how important Vlahovic was. Also speaking about the fact that Vlahovic trained individually. He said, look, it looks like, I don't know what we did, but training individually with him after training session is something that we always do. This time you were able to see it because the training was open for everyone, but my staff or myself, we are taking players individually and we are working with this session to improve their qualities. Like Giorgio Chiellini, that at the beginning of his career was really, really bad with his left foot, or both feet. He didn't even speak about the right foot, guys, let's not exaggerate, but the left foot was really, really bad. Well, Giorgio Chiellini improved because he had the mentality of going to the training ground and knowing, okay, everyone is speaking about my left foot, how bad, I want to improve with that. And at the end of his journey of Juve, he became actually a player that was really great with his left foot. Attenzione, we are not speaking about Ronaldinho, let's not exaggerate, but he improved, and that's why what players like Vlahovic and the other ones they need to do to improve. 3-4-3, I don't know yet. We'll try to see them in a second. Ask me questions, guys. If you missed something, ciao Rob. Say what you want about Max, but he's a classy man. Yeah. I agree with that. Then you can like him, you can dislike him, you can like his way of playing or not, his mentality, but a classy man. Always. He remembered also the player that was not available because his daughter passed away. You know, when you receive so many or so much hate from all the opposition teams, even not disgusting behavior towards Juve in the home game, in the away game, always finds words to speak well about the other teams. I don't remember Max speaking bad about other teams. I don't remember. I don't remember what, for example, President De Laurentiis is doing. For the first time in history, he will be able to win a Scudetto, deserved Scudetto. For the first time since more than 30 years, they, as Napoli, will win a Scudetto. When I'm reading what the fans are doing, but it's also led by a really strange president. They are focusing on Juve. They are speaking every single day about Juve, Juve, Juve. They are not focusing on their own victory because they were used to that, because they were never winning. So that loser mentality of always speaking about the other ones, always focusing on Juve, even now where Juventus is far away. Even if you give back the points to Juve, I believe we have how much? At the moment, minus 18. If we win tomorrow, we go at minus 15. They already won the Scudetto. Even if they give us back the points, that will not happen, of course, but versus Salernitana, they are plus 13. They have a duo that is working crazy, like Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen. Their obsession is Juve, Juve, Juve. So if we're speaking about Max, this is something that we have to give back to him. Marien, ho visto Max molto sereno. Yeah, he looks like really relaxed in knowing what his team is doing. Then you can win, you can lose, whatever. But he looked much more relaxed than a few weeks ago. I agree. Ciao Sar, ciao Beppe. Today I did something new. I am watching your live at work. Attenzione, because if your boss, or maybe you are your own boss, but if your boss is watching you, attenzione. But I know the press conferences are not in Europe, but in Serie A, they are super early in the afternoon. So it makes sense that a lot of people from USA and from wherever you are in the world, from the other side of Europe, they are watching a bit earlier, or on the way of work, or already at work. But yeah, Pogba and Chiesa back is a great news. I was happy to hear that Paul was back. Will he play or not? He has not the 90 minutes, but it's a good news. It's a good news, especially for the remaining part of the season. Allegri is a good man. He doesn't deserve to hate. But, when you are looking at, I believe that majority of people in the football world are good people. Or normal people. I don't even want to say good people, but normal people. If you see Graham Potter, the coach of Chelsea, that said publicly that he received a death threat from fans. Guys, we are in a world where we are exaggerating, good or bad people, whatever. We are exaggerating, but I agree. Today it's like that. Today it's like that. You are winning a game, you are the best. You are losing a game, you are the worst. Except that today, more and more we criticize, more and more we yell, more and more we use that effect, because social media. We need every time something more crazy, more that has not been done yet, some surprise effect. And most of the time, more we are going toward this kind of surprise effect of criticizing, doing something new, even worse and worse and worse. Well, you receive these likes, and then you need to become worse and worse and worse to increase the number of likes that you receive. For example, I decided a long time ago that to create a Telegram group where it's not about the likes. I don't care about the likes. We are reporting the news about Juve in a safe place, where sometimes I ban people that are there just to troll, to create a safe space, not for likes, not for money, because you received €0 with Telegram, but to create a safe space. But today, it is like that. People are addicted to likes. They create, you see like 50 accounts that are translating the same thing for the one that is first. Guys, it's, sometimes you use Juventus. You use Juventus for your own benefit, which I understand. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. Let's focus on the real things, not the hate that Max is receiving, but the beautiful things. What are the beautiful things? Miretti back for Roma. Chiesa, Pogba, they will be called up together with Di Maria and Vlahovic. Beautiful things. How will we play? A big integration. A big question mark here. So let me read a bit of your things. Fun fact, Paul Pogba has 6 goals assist against Torino. It's correct. I think it's the first time in years all the first team players are in training, at least without injuries, unless you count Caio Jorge. Well, Milik, we spoke also about Milik. Milik will be there after the international break. Hey, if you're looking at when the international break is, it's in a few games. So the one of Milik is a bit more serious than what a lot were thinking. So let me open the calendar to show you if it's working. Yeah? The one not really working. Waiting. I don't know. It's not answering. Let me try again. If it's not working, I try with something else. This one is not working. Okay, so let me check here. No. We will find it. It's never a problem. We find them. Okay. Maybe we have to go here. SofaScore to the game. So if you're looking at the international break, we first play Torino. Then we play Roma. Okay, it's already 2 games. Then we play Freiburg. Sampdoria on the 12th. Freiburg again on the 16th. Inter on the 19th. That's still 6 games without Milik. 2 in Europa League. And then big games, like Inter in Serie A, Roma, and so on and so on. And then he will be there. So Milik back on the 1st of April. Because of that international break end of March, we will miss him for 1 more month. So no Milik there. So except of Milik and Caio Jorge, and now Locatelli because he's suspended for the game versus Torino, we have our team. But how many? Guys, since Pirlo time, I'm telling, attenzione, because we will have our full team, we will have a full team, we have full team, and then you have new injury. So I'm always prudent with that. Ciao, Intellectuals. Cambiaso did really great against Inter. You think he will be back next season? I am nearly sure about it. Yes, that he will be back at least to receive a chance in summer camp. But then everything will depend on Cambiaso ability to prove himself, to convince the new coach, because we already spoke about it in this morning's video when we were speaking about Vlahovic potentially leaving, already Juve on Højlund, which I don't really believe these kind of rumors can be, that Juve asked already some information, but we are really at the first stage. Why? Because how many times did we say Juventus is totally blocked at the moment? You don't know what the future will bring. You don't know if you will be in Champions League, in Europa League. You don't know how you will reach it. Even if you reach them, you don't know what UEFA, after all the investigations are done, you don't know what UEFA will say to Juve if you can or not participate. You don't know which coach will be there. And starting even before the coach, you don't know which sporting hierarchy there will be, because if today we have a president, we have a CEO, we have a CFO, if we have all that structure of backstage Juve, you don't know the sporting side, because Cherubini is not able to work at the moment. He's working on some other things, but he's not able to officially work on the mercato. So who will be the sporting director? If Juventus doesn't want to do a big mistake, what should Juventus do is first thinking about a sporting director, and together with him deciding who is the coach of next season. You always know that my philosophy, and I know that you will not be happy with what I will say, but my philosophy has been, you need unity, you need clear vision, and you need shared ambitions with management and technical staff on every single aspect. If there is no unity on top, it will never be reflected below on the field. This is really important. So if you have a sporting director that doesn't believe in Max Allegri as a coach, you stop. You stop. As easy as that. You stop. You speak with Max, you stop. If you have a sporting director that is believing in Max and says, we want and we need to continue because he is the man, we continue with Max. Of course, if Max agrees to continue, because nobody said that at the end of the season he wants to continue. We read already some rumors of what I am telling you since really, really, really long. I always told you I defend Max. his role, especially now, because he's the only one that understands about football in Juventus at the moment. At the end of the season, I don't believe that Max will remain. If he wins, he leaves. If he loses, he will be sent away. But let's see what will happen with Max Allegri. And from the moment that you have a sporting hierarchy, you have a coach, then you can think about the mercato. Would have been much easier if today we had already 15 points of tomorrow winning versus Torino. If you have 15 points, if you win that game, you have 50 points, you are going towards a spot in Champions League. And that tells you that you can act toward sporting hierarchy, agreement with the coach, and already thinking about the mercato. Højlund or not Højlund. You can think about Vlahovic. Look, Dusan. There will be Allegri. Do you want to stay? Yes or no? There will be no Allegri. Do you want to stay? Yes or no? We will be in Europa League. We will be in Champions League. Do you want to stay? Yes or no? And that's really important. So speaking about Cambiaso, it also depends. It's different than a new player that you need to buy because it's our own player. So I believe he will come back, and then depending with the new sporting hierarchy, we will decide what to do with him. But yesterday he played really great versus Inter. I agree. My pleasure, Siamak. Aldo, in life these days, you can't even say what a man and women are. Guys, this is everyone is thinking whatever they want. Anyway, Stavros, great to see the players coming back step by step in order to have a full squad. Ciao to Abai, grande Abai. Beppe, who do you want to be replace Max, and who would you want as a sporting director? I don't know, guys. This is actually what I was just explaining. I don't care. As long as there is unity, because this is actually what was not happening in the last Juventus since his comeback of Max Allegri, because you had one part that were against the return of Max Allegri, you had one part that was pro Max Allegri, and then you start having some internal fights, and this is absolutely not okay. Zidane, yes, as a name, I would love to have Zidane. Famous name, ex-Juve player, loves the team, loves the city. Yes, but I never saw Zidane training a team that is in, I don't know if it's rebuilding phase that you have to call it, youth project. I don't know if it's a team that is at the end of their cycle. I don't know if it's a team that is strong enough. I have no ideas about where the future is bringing us. So Zidane, I saw him coaching a Real Madrid that, excuse me, but had other players as the one that we have at Juve today. He's a great manager in managing the team. Is he also a great manager in developing teams that are in difficulty, like, for example, an Antonio Conte? I don't know. You see, I was just BBJ saying Conte. From Conte, you know a lot of things. Conte, you saw him managing teams that were having a real serious problem of DNA, of results, like Chelsea, like Juve, like Inter, like La Nazionale Italiana after Ventura, and you know that is his big strength. On the other side, you also know the dark side of Conte, which is when he reach a certain level, maybe because he's scared to start losing, to not being able to do it, he's going in auto-destruction mode. You know that in Europe, it's difficult for him from the moment that he has to manage double or triple competition at a time. So these are the problems of Antonio Conte. So Zidane, I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea. I would be happy, of course, if Zidane comes to Juve, but I don't know. Didier Deschamps, for example, I have a bit more knowledge about him. I know him managing teams like Monaco, like Juve in second division, like multiple big stars like L'Équipe de France. So I know that Deschamps is another, but he will not come, Deschamps. If you tell me, Beppe, what is your kind of coach that you really would love at Juve, I will tell you Jürgen Klopp. But also here, Jürgen Klopp with the knowledge that Jürgen Klopp needs a few years to develop his team. Or because he needs big players to be bought on the market, and today we can't afford to do that, or because he needs time to implement his ideas, like he did with Dortmund at the time. But I don't believe that Klopp will join Juve. If you tell me about these kind of hipster coaches like Italiano, like Sotil, like Gasperini, every time these coaches have shown that when it's the moment to do better, they flop at the moment, or because they miss experience, like in Italiano. To manage two competitions is difficult for them. Or for Gasperini, that, yeah, he did beautiful things without the pressure of an Atalanta team, but from the moment he needs to, he lose. Like yesterday again, against Milan. So, I'm not a big fan of some coaches. De Zerbi is a coach that has been talked about. Look, De Zerbi, I always told you that he would have been in conflict with Juventus, because he's a man that publicly spoke against the Super League. It's a coach that publicly said, I am against the Super League. He was not even speaking about Juve. He was speaking about the game that they had to play the day after. It was versus Milan. He said, if my president allows me, I don't even go and play the game of tomorrow because Super League. And when you know that Juventus is one of the teams that is still in the Super League, or at least now we have to understand, yes or no, if we continue with the project, Juventus will patiently wait until the Corte d'Appello in Europa decides, I believe it will be in March, in yes or no you can start creating the Super League before seeing if yes or no you continue with the project. I don't see a coach like De Zerbi joining, guys. I don't understand also the voices that are saying that De Zerbi could join Juve because he just joined Brighton. At Brighton, he's doing beautiful things, and you know it. Without checking the scores, when De Zerbi won, you know it, because everyone is speaking about De Zerbi. From the moment that De Zerbi lose, you know that you don't hear about him anymore. Like now, he's able to win some games, he's then losing other games. Look, when he took, I believe, Brighton, they were 4th. They are 7th now. Is he a coach with ideas? Yes. Is he a coach with offensive ideas? Yes. Is he a coach for Juve? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Except of Shakhtar a bit. Except of Sassuolo, and now with Brighton, I never saw him coaching a big team. But even Antonio Conte never coached a big team before joining Juve. So I don't know, guys, about De Zerbi. I don't know. Yeah, the guy from Benfica, Roger Schmidt, but also him, first year at Benfica, but did fantastically well, being able also to take players from the youth academy of Benfica that has always worked, and since years they are up front of everyone in terms of youth academy. So it's really a culture there. So this is also something that you have to keep in mind. The strategy of Juve, what will they be? We announced publicly that we want to believe in the youth academy sector. By the way, we are extending contracts of Huijsen, of Nongue. We just spoke about him. We already promoted to the first team players like Sole, like Miretti, Fagioli, Ealing Jr. So you need a coach that is able also to understand youth, to be able to give them a chance, but also to understand what is Juventus. Especially a Juve that is not winning since 21-22, 22-23. 2021. It's already 3 seasons. Because this year, Napoli already won it. Uncle Charma, I'm convinced Inzaghi will coach Juve one day soon. Well, I don't know, joke or no joke, but I know that he has always been really close to Juve, Inzaghi, especially in the time of Paratici, because they are really great friends. So they know each other since really, really, really long, as private life as well. They are really great friends. And I know that Simone Inzaghi was a coach that was always talked about to join Juve. I don't know if that is still the hype, especially because you see that Simone Inzaghi is a fantastic coach in terms of managing cups, so in or out. What Juventus miss a lot, these in or out competitions. On the other hand, these long marathons, he's not always able to do them well in terms of changes, in terms of managing moments, games, long term. It's hard for Simone Inzaghi, so I don't believe that he will still be in the actuality of Juve, but you never know. I don't want Simone Inzaghi, guys, to be honest. I never wanted him before. I don't want him now also because he's one that is always crying in front of the microphones. If you're looking at all the memes and so on, not a coach that I really like. Anyway, that's Inzaghi. We spoke about what else? We spoke about De Zerbi. Look at Spalletti. Now Spalletti looks like the best coach in the world. Guys, last year he was also the coach of Napoli. He arrived, luckily he arrived fourth. It was the same coach. It was the same coach that bottled it, like he bottled it at Inter, like he bottled it at Roma. I told you this year, why can Napoli win the squad? After, I believe, 5-6 games, I told you, why can they this year do something different? Because there is a small thing that is important, is the World Cup. Because the teams of Spalletti, and I'm happy if Uncle Sharma is there, that he maybe can confirm, the teams of Spalletti, they all start with a turbo start. Turbo start that is giving them a fantastic way of playing for 10-15 games. All competitions, 15 games, 18 games. The first difficulties that arrive end of November, December, they go down. The team of Spalletti always, Roma, Napoli, Inter, all the teams that Udinese, all the teams that he managed, they managed. And most of the time, they are not able anymore to pick up. They will pick up in a certain moment of the season again, and then they will fall down. And they are always arriving really short, and they can't win the Scudetto. This year, they had, for me, let's speak about everything. Fantastic mercato. It's like when you are going at the winning, the lottery. Bling, 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 and you have the 777. How many times does that arrive? But fantastic job. They were able to find all of them. Kvaratskhelia, Kim Min-jae, what else? Other players there. I don't know. They have Osimhen that after a fight in the beginning. Do you remember the fight between Osimhen and Spalletti? He was about to clash. It was over. They were able also there that fight that actually brought them closer. Crazy. Every star was aligned. On top of that, you have the World Cup in the middle, which gives Spalletti the opportunity with only 5 players from Napoli to go to the World Cup. So they had all their team there. Nigeria was not at the World Cup. Georgia was not at the World Cup. So a lot of their best players remained in Napoli. To start again, like in the summer, giving them again that 10-15 games of turbo start, like they are doing in the beginning of the season. It's great, eh? They were smart. Juventus totally flopped the summer training camp. They were smart. They said, you know what? Let's go with that turbo start. We stop and we start again like a new season, season 2.0. Fantastic. Everything. On top of that, you win. Mediocre Serie A with Juventus at this. Can you imagine? Guys, seriously, give us back the 15 points. Give us back the Salernitana 2 points. We are at 49. We are second. We are all complaining here. Every day about how poor and mediocre Juventus is. Without a single second of Pogba that maybe tomorrow can play. With Federico Chiesa playing 17.5% of the minutes at disposal all competition. Vlahovic, 56%. 35% of the minutes at disposal for Di Maria at the moment. Today they were calling them Fantastic Four. You never saw them together. Never. Juventus is second. On paper. Imagine how poor it is. So Napoli, they have everything to succeed. Deservedly. Scout, because the coach is the same. Guys, now we have to be honest. Because Allegri. It looks like it's only Juventus that is bad. Last year, Pioli on fire. Pioli on fire. The best coach in the world. This year, Pioli out. Last year, there was De Laurentiis. At a certain moment, he took his plastic chair that you are buying at the Aldi for €2.50. And they went in Ritiro. And he took his plastic chair and he's putting it on the field and he's watching in the eyes Spalletti. Harassment. If I was there, I would go to the lawyer. I will ask for harassment. He was harassing him. He was there watching every single minute of what he was doing during the day. on the field, off the field. There were players from Napoli that were in protest because they didn't want to go in Retiro. They were about to dismiss Spalletti last year, and today it's the best coach of the world. So, you see, that's why I'm saying, before you arrive at a level where you say, okay, I believe that you are a coach for Juve, before me saying I want that coach because I'm sure, I don't know. Even Pep Guardiola is not a guarantee of winning the Champions League, guys. With all the money he has spent. Look at Harry Potter. Guys, I saw a poll online. If you're rebuilding a team, or if you are if you are an elite team and you need a coach, who will you take? Harry Potter or Allegri? I saw like a 90% of Harry Potter. Guys, the coach never did anything in his life, huh? Anything. Tuchel is a coach that managed Paris Saint-Germain, managed Chelsea, won the Champions League. He's a coach that I am not a big fan of. But it's a coach that gives me more guarantees than a lot of coaches that we are speaking about. I believe he could potentially do well. AJ, it's Graham Potter, not Harry Potter. Hey, yeah, but that's how they called him, because he was doing the magic with Brighton. Now it's De Zerbi. De Zerbi is now the Harry Potter of the situation. But unfortunately, he's called De Zerbi and not Potter. Anyway, hey, assistant of Guardiola, they are doing well. Arteta was his assistant. A lot of assistants of Guardiola are doing always well. No, guys, a fraud is exaggerating. Let's not exaggerate. He's a great coach with mentality, but one thing is coaching Barcelona. Another one is, of course, it's a joke, AJ. To be honest, I am pretty content with Allegri. The players love him and he knows how to cope with difficult situations. I am a bit tired of all the whining. Well, you know it, I repeat it so many times. So many times. I'm not the biggest fan of Max Allegri, but I will always be grateful for what he did for Juve in the 5 years. I didn't want him back now. I would have welcomed him back later, not now, not last year. But it is what it is, so I respect and especially I try to understand what he does. From the moment that you understand that with Max Allegri, you will not see a calcio champagne, but you will see a balanced football. You can try to start understanding what he's doing. And then you respect. Because, guys, well, you like it or you don't like it, we are second in Serie A with 50 points. If we win tomorrow, 52 even. We only, it's too much already, but we lost 4 games. If you're looking at all the other ones, Napoli lost 1, we lost 4, all the other ones lost more than 4 games. Like it or not, it is what it is. Davide, this one is not from, this one is from 1 or 2 seasons ago. This one is not new. This one is from 1 or 2 seasons ago. Don't remember. But Khalid, no, of course. Bad. Today, in the press, if you listen to the press conference, he said it with his words. We don't have to forget, we totally flopped, we totally failed in Champions League. This is something that now we accepted because it's over. But a total disaster, A total disaster. But it happens, guys. Beginning of the season, horror. I am not happy of what we did this year. I am absolutely not happy with what we did this season. But I start defending Allegri a bit more when I see unreasonable comparisons. That's where I start to be angry and defending Allegri, even if I don't want to defend Allegri. I go in defensive mode when I see that people are saying, but Pioli is better. Pioli is behind us, yeah, but they won 1-0 versus Tottenham in Champions League. Yeah, okay, it's true. They won 1-0. How many times before were they eliminated from the group stages? For us, it's the first time since years, since Antonio Conte, that we don't go through the group stages. You see? So one season, I'm going in defensive mode where they are saying, Beppe, but Allegri 1-0. And when you're looking at facts, Conte had more percentage-wise, more 1-0 than Juve. And if you're looking at the team of Allegri, they have more games with more than 3 goals or more than 2 goals than the 1-0s in percentage-wise. So you see that it's, the kind of disrespect and changing the facts that I don't like more than Allegri. For me, I always told you, since day one, and I work for you, it would be easy for me to say, no, we go with Allegri. I don't know. I don't believe that Max will be there next season. Let's see what the future will bring. Anyway, can we go back instead of speaking about Allegri? Because Allegri, I told you, Allegri is here until the end of the season. Then we will see. Can we go back a bit to the press conference, to the game of tomorrow? And then we close. 5 minutes and we close. Manchester United employed a separate coach for striker, and it has really helped Rashford. Do we have one in Juve? I feel it will really help Dusan Vlahovic and Moiskin. We have a technical staff, a special coach for the attack. I don't think so, but coaches that are divided. It's a team of Allegri that are dividing the work. Yes, a special coach from outside with new ideas for the attack. I don't know. There aren't really any great managers in Italy in the moment. I would not take any other manager in Serie A over Allegri at the moment. I like Allegri. I think we flopped in Champions League because we were missing a lot of players. Of course. Not only that, but of course. Then, if Pioli missed Tonali, we missed Pogba. If Leao, we missed Chiesa, Giroud. Where would Milan be? Of course. We spoke about it so many times, and David. We spoke about it so many times. That can't be an excuse for Juve, but if you are taking everything into consideration, it does. Anyway, do you have other questions, guys, or not? You want to see potential Juve? Really fast? Who can potentially play? I have two things in mind. Two things. Okay. So, I have... let me take that away. Wait. So, Locatelli will not be... Locatelli will not be there. Okay? I don't believe that Keane will start. Okay? De Sciglio here. So, Szczesny into the goal. Confirmed by Allegri. Bonucci will not start the game. So, we are going towards a 3-man defense that looks like this. Okay? Brazilian defense versus Torino. Then, you have two options. Or you have the option Paredes as a regista with Rabiot, Fagioli, Kostic there. You can potentially have Juanito, Cuadrado. And you have that kind of 3-5-1-1, 3-5-2. That's one option. Okay? The problem, of course, if doing so, you miss a lot of players in the bench, in the midfield, because you have nobody anymore in the midfield. Miretti is not there. So you have a Pogba. But how many minutes does Pogba has in the legs? And you have nobody, because Miretti is not there. McKennie has been loaned out. Locatelli will not be there. So that's one possibility for tomorrow. Chiesa will not start the game tomorrow. Bonucci not, Pogba not, Miretti is not there. So that can be a possibility, saying we sacrifice the possibility to have players in the midfield on the bench. Another option can be you take away Paredes, up. Could potentially be something like this. Look. Could potentially be something like this. Why? Because you have one more option on the bench that can be Paredes, can be Pogba, whatever you want to. Can be that. With De Sciglio, with Cuadrado here. We know that Cuadrado, he loves scoring against Torino. Then you can evaluate who is more in form between both of them. Is it De Sciglio? You take away Quadrado. Is it Quadrado? You take away De Sciglio, you put Quadrado down, and that can be. In that one, you can also go towards easily, with the same men. You can go with a 4-man defense. 4, 2, 3, 1. Hey, guys. Attenzione. Abba is saying, yes, this. You see, easily, with the same men. 4, 2, 3, 1. 4, 2, 3, 1. And you play in a 3, 4 to 1. That can be potentially with of course, Di Maria that plays between the line and a Quadrado that is supporting. So you have that movement that can potentially be of movement tomorrow. You have a De Sciglio that is going down here, Alexandro that is moving up here, and you have also here a Quadrado going down. You see? And you go with 4. Can potentially be something in non-possession. You see? Locatelli is suspended, guys. So forget about Locatelli. Forget about Locatelli. The derby is usually a game of mind and heart, especially heart. More than talent and skills, we need to play whoever is ready to fight all game. I agree with Thomas. That's something that we have to keep in mind. Not thinking about our friends of Roma, but thinking about that game only. And then you have the bench, of course. I don't know. Tomorrow I think that can be the lineup. Bueno, ragazzi, I will do the last live with Enrico Zambruno in 1 hour 45 on the Juventus Twitch. There will be normally there will be a Juve player that will be with us from the next gen. Attenzione. And then maybe this evening I come back. Could potentially be that I'm back this evening, or with a video, or with the latest news, or with something else. So thank you for all your support. Don't forget, guys, if you want to support the translation, everything, don't forget to put a maximum of like. Would be really appreciated if you would do it. At the moment we are at 87. I don't know if we can reach the 100. Would be fantastic. So let's see. Maximum of like. That's the message of a Mandalorian helicopter out of nowhere. Huijsen is a football player. I know him. Ciao New York Juventino. Grazie. 93. Mamma mia. 7. We missed 4. We are at 96. We missed 4. Let's go. We can do it. Mohamed. Look at how our season is different from our dreams at the start. Injuries. -15. Changing the board. Season to forget. Season to forget or to remember. To do better next year. 97, we missed 3. Ciao David Mirabella, ciao Stavros, ciao Spider, Luca Gaming, ciao Juan Echeverri, ciao Helicopter, we missed 2. Ciao Sir Raz. Tomorrow I am on Twitch for the game, and then for the post game here on YouTube. But Twitch tomorrow. We hit them. I'm happy. Thank you guys. Grazie, forza Juve. Ciao ragazzi.